Hello, engineering thinkers, and welcome back to another episode of Engineering Thinking by IK. I'm delighted once again to be your host. I'm Sean, and this show is a home for anyone who is interested in engineering or training to become an engineer. We're very excited to have you. And more to that, we have an excellent guest with us for this episode. Our guest, just a brief background on him, he graduated from University of Technology, Malaysia, in a Bachelor's of Electronics Engineering and Mechatronics. He then pursued his studies further and got his MBA from the University of Ballarat over in Australia. He has worked for renowned companies such as Intel, Avago, and Dell in both engineering and leadership positions. Now, he's the Group CEO of Solarvest, an Asia-Pacific regional leader in providing clean energy solutions to over 7 countries with a combined energy portfolio of over 1,200 megawatts. If you read the news, you've seen Solarvest. They've accumulated hundreds of millions of ringgits in projects, mainly to do with solar farms and solar facilities. But that's not all. Solarvest is also keen on discovering new alternative clean energy sources like hydrogen and also developing new battery storage technologies. The Group CEO of Solarvest, Mr. Davis Chong, thank you very much for joining us in the show today.
Thank you, Sean.
So, engineering thinkers, Mr. Davis over here is going to be our hero of the day. As always, here in the show, we like to put our guests as heroes because great engineers build and inspire a greater world. That's what heroes do. But like every good hero story, there has to be a start of the saga. And so for the first segment, the journey, we're going to explore Mr. Davis's hero origin story. So Mr. Davis, could you share with our listeners and viewers what inspired you to begin your journey in engineering?
I think it's separated to 2 parts. I think the first part is always from a family. We born in a small village and a small family, or very ordinary family. And so we actually not decided like, oh, what is the career path that we're gonna have after we finish our study. So my sister, my elder sister, so she's the first one who pursue engineering. So in fact, we have no clue. So I just think like, wow, engineering is the best career path that we can pursue. That slowly I'm more interested in engineering. You're amazed with how engineering make our life better, you know, build bridges, you have TV, you have all the new electronics appliances with the engineering work. So you are more amazed by what engineering can do. So since then, I think I've decided that in the secondary that I'll pursue engineering path in my studies, and I'm lucky enough to get that path.
Okay, excellent. So it was a bit of family that inspired you as well.
Yeah.
To move down the path.
The first part of it is to pursue these studies. Then it's from family. Then I think the second part of it is the entrepreneurship of all the brilliant engineers that create so many good things, new things to improve human life that inspire us.
Right, and keep in mind to our viewers and listeners, that's very important that this can inspire you to do really good work for the future. Ask Mr. Davis about his academic life. In UTM, you took electronics engineering and mechatronics. So can you tell us what that experience was like for you when you were studying that?
I'm going to share you a really real life story. We come from a small school, and in UTM, you know, that time they take all the best students from secondary and to go to engineering school in Skudai. And you're getting into the pool of all the best SPM graduates in Malaysia. So in fact, we kind of the best from a small school, and go there, you probably become one of the worst students doing that. So we start to live in that expectations and go into the first year, second year. In fact, in the university life or degree studies, I think I'm those students that come 5 minutes late and living 5 minutes early in the classroom. So, but I managed to get I think a second upper degree. So it's still not too bad. But I putting a lot of emphasis on enjoying campus life and learning in a different way in a university rather than focus on academic.
I see, that's excellent. Now, you mentioned something very interesting. You found that it was challenging. Some parts of studying engineering was challenging since it's one of the best institutions at that point. And so I think a lot of especially our younger students that are trying to get started on an engineering career in university or college, how did you find the motivation to overcome those feelings of stress and maybe found it difficult? How did you overcome those challenges?
I think for us it's quite difficult because we never imagined go to university that there's such changes in the studying. I mean, for the first time that I get the subjects like coding or programming or different subject, we never come. What is coding? What is C++? We have no clue at all. But to some of the, big city students, they know what is programming and C++, right? So a lot of changes or adaptability that we need to make in our mentality in the university. Then slowly we think that, okay, we're going to get into this, we're going to learn from those really one of the best students in Malaysia, maybe. Then we learn from them. Then slowly we get into, we integrate into the university life. Then you get along with it. But I think at one point I have hard time. That I even call my sisters like, wow, I don't get used to it, and it's tough to get into. I think after the year one, but I think some encouragement, support from the family, you get through it, and then at the point that you integrate into, mix to everyone, how everybody doing in the university, then I think you get through it.
So that's a really important series of advice there from Mr. Davis. Be adaptable, find your peers, find a support group, and try to integrate yourselves into the community of students and perhaps teachers and mentors. And that's how you can overcome some of the stressors, some of the challenges.
Yeah, and the support from family and friends. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. Davis, could you explain perhaps what mechatronics is for our listeners who are perhaps just engineering adjacent? They might not have heard mechatronics before.
Yeah, a lot of people are not too sure about what is mechatronics. Mechatronics basically is robotics. It's mechanical plus electronics. So that's translate into mechanical movement and electronics control. So it's a very fun topics. It's very fun engineering. When all the real life things is of course is mechatronics. As you see, your car, your camera, your appliances, everything have things to move, but you need electronic signals or electronic or electrical control. So that's basically is mechatronics.
So it's kind of like an amalgamation of all sort of different disciplines of engineering.
Yeah, it's a combination of mechanical and electronics.
I see, that's very interesting. And overall, how would you say that your experience was doing electronics engineering and mechatronics? So now when you look back at your academic life, overall, what was the experience like to you? Did you really take some memorable lessons out of it? Or?
Well, when I study, you don't feel that. But after you study, when you get into your career, your daily life, then you feel like most of the technology that you do with is related to mechatronics. So when I come out to work, I work on a technology that related to automotive, appliances, camera, equipment, robotics, arm, exercise equipment, machine that make leather, all this related to mechatronics products that we need to go back to the subject that we study in the mechatronics to understand how the discipline works. So basically you found that, actually mechatronics degree that you study is all related to all the product, all the technology that we are using every day.
And so how did that make you feel when you realized that, actually, what you studied has wide application. It's what
Yeah.
people are using. It's what the
You
viewers
didn't know,
are actually watching.
You didn't know
This.
that when you studying it, you only know after
After
you
the
are in
fact.
at
Right.
the job.
So it must be a very fulfilling sort of way to look back on your academic.
Yeah, so you found that you actually in the right study. You didn't feel that seriously.
Right. So it felt like it was worth the effort.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind to our viewers and listeners. So there might be some times which are challenging when you're doing engineering as your chosen profession or your chosen major. But when you realize so many things that we take for granted, technology especially, anything with moving parts, it's like Mr. Davis said, it's related to mechatronics, it's related to engineering. So it's very important. So we have a pretty decent idea now on Mr. Davis's origin story. So if you stick with us, we're going to start segment 2, which will be the highlight. So stay with us. Thank you. Engineering thinkers, welcome back to our second segment, the highlight. And now this is where we get to delve into Mr. Davis's journey from engineering graduate all the way to where he is now as the group CEO of Solarvest. There's a lot of interesting stories and examples that we can share with you using Mr. Davis's insights and experience. So for now, Mr. Davis, after you completed your studies at UTM, your first major posting was with Intel, a failure analysis engineer. Could you share a little bit about your time at Intel for our viewers and listeners?
Yeah, after I graduated, it's same journey like everyone. It's like you couldn't get a job. You couldn't get a job. Like you're job hunting for a few months. So Intel is the first one. Give me the opportunity to join the company. Of course, Intel was a big name that time. That it was the biggest company in the world maybe. Yeah. So it is a good opportunity for me to join Intel, and I'm happy to join it as a engineer, as a failure analysis engineer in I would say QA department. And then I completely don't know how it's gonna work, and just finally get a job and you get paid, so that's good. So then joining Intel and give me a feeling like you start to get into working space, and you have a team, you have managers, you have colleagues, and of course the management and the seniors in Intel started to teach us and train us as we call it fresh recent graduate.
Fresh recent graduates.
Then they will treat us as a new kids, like train all the basics and engineering and how Intel works. I think the first few weeks I just taught you like how to work in Intel, and then the leaders will come in and give you some guidance and all this. Your seniors will be your buddy. It's a buddy program in Intel that to go along with you.
So did you feel that Intel's, it was like it's essentially a mentorship?
Yeah, so it's very comfortable time in Intel, I would say. If you join Intel in the past, if you join Intel to work, it's very comfortable. You feel very safe. There's somebody always be with you. You know, you'll be guided. You'll be your managers. You have your HR and everything. So it's kind of comfortable, and it's with a lot of opportunity as well. I just worked within 1 year. I think 6 months, if I remember correctly. You know, after 6 months of Intel time, then I get a job knowledge transfer opportunity to travel to US for 4 months. So it was quite luxury that time to get that kind of opportunity.
How did you feel having to travel all the way to the States for this project, this knowledge transfer project? What was that like, the experience?
It was I think it's a life-changing decision for me.
Life-changing?
Yeah, it's kind of life-changing.
Can you describe a bit more on that?
Okay, when I connect the dot back for this story, it's a life-changing because the first thing is like question back, how did I get a chance to go to US? Because as a 23 years old graduate and go to the job within 6 months, do you dare to ask for a trip to US and you're not sure you're able to contribute anything or not? And I didn't know that until that I asked my senior. It's like in the team, everybody take turns to do the knowledge transfer or transfer opportunity. So I was like, what? So why do you go to US? Yeah, I go for knowledge transfer. So what knowledge?
Yeah, yeah.
No, you in charge of your project and you just ask for knowledge transfer. So I thought it's like, okay, so I don't know what it is, but if you all doing it, then I'm doing it as well.
Right, yeah, of course.
So then she taught me a very good lesson is you just ask. If you don't ask, you never get it. So that's the first lesson. That from after graduate, I didn't know like the working world work in this way. So I just because it's very unique. The budget doesn't come from us. The budget comes from US. Division manager from the state, which is I think a few times higher in the rank. So and I email the divisions. I don't think it's manager, maybe a director level persons. That I'm Davis. I'm working under who in Malaysia. I'm in charge of the project right now. I think I need to have the knowledge transfer opportunity to learn about this project and this product in US from certain team, and then I hope I can justify the business trip, all this.
And so when you were, that's fantastic, by the way. I'm sure a lot of our listeners, viewers would love that opportunity.
Yeah.
But since you got that opportunity and you did go to the States and handled your project.
And the
there.
email come back, it's just simple. Just go ahead, go ahead and apply with your visa.
Oh, okay. That's excellent. So what was it like when you were in the States? Did it open your eyes to different sort of team and working cultures as well?
Yeah.
And
I always question back, now, if I don't go to US and to change my perspective as an engineer, I think I'll be one of the engineers who are working in the MNC right now. Because when I travel there, I work under a few guys, which is very senior, 40, 50 years old. There was the brilliant Intel engineer. They understand the whole thing, how semiconductors work, how wafer fabrication work very well. One of the guru in Intel, one of the best people in the industry. And I trained under them for a few months, and they teach me the basic of engineering. That how you're going to work in engineering, how you're going to troubleshoot problem, what kind of mentality that you're going to have, how you trace one thing and a thing to another point and then get the engineering answer as per the formula itself. So to relate the formula to the things that you're doing, so that's a amazing thing that I found out. Oh, it really worked in this way. So under the few months, of course, the discipline, the mentality that I got trained from the US colleague as an engineer, I think that taught me how to work as an engineer like it should be. But frankly, not everybody in our working community here work with this mentality as an engineer, because it's very simple to differentiate that. When you ask a person, why does this thing work in this way? Right. A lot of people here will answer you like, I don't know, he's being told to work in this way. It used to work in this way. So to the people that I work with there, no, they explain the whole thing, the logic, why it works in this way, why I do things in.
I think there's like a sort of natural latent ability to have curiosity, to open stuff out and really examine how it works underneath the hood, right? And so that is very primordial in engineering desire to sort of figure out how stuff works, essentially. So I think it's very important for our listeners and viewers, what Mr. Davis just said, have that curiosity, that drive to find out and be able to explain as well how stuff works, the mechanisms, the processes. And Mr. Davis, you were doing failure analysis, right? You in QA, quality control, quality assurance. And so I'm sure there were some challenging times for you as well to figure out how a product could fail, what its weak points are, how to improve stuff.
I'll go through it a little bit if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, in charge of the product, which is a ABS brake controller that being used in all the luxury car to control the ABS brake. So that device is the only product that I'm in charge to do the failure analysis, to improve the product and to manage the quality issue of the product. So of course there are many categories of failure. So we always differentiate some of the failure as a basic first cut failure, which probably the packaging failure, very delamination, what we call. So it's very basic. You see it from naked eye or anything very simple, it will detect the failure. So, but to the point that I'm involved in the projects, I suppose to enhance our failure analysis capability to solve functional issue, which is down to the IC level, metal level, maybe in a fabrication process, that line of metal in the 2 cm or 1 cm of chips inside the 6 metal layers. That chip is 6 metal layers. So in between that, any problem happen? So we need to go until that level to detect the problem, then to feedback to the design or manufacturing department that we got such an issue. So it takes a lot of process to find out one single dot problem in a small chip. And with that, you need to do a lot of steps to do that.
Right.
So in one of the case study, in one of the case that we have, I think I learned all the skills to do the failure analysis. We call it decapsulations. We call it, I forgot what's the full name, IRAM, some kind of analysis with the emissions to detect where is the hot spot coming from and all this thing. So a lot of steps. Then I couldn't find the failure according to the data that it give me, the chips give me, because we have a pattern to run that to check where is the problem. Okay, it's the 1010 things. So it doesn't give you the output that you want. So you need to guess where is the circuitry that have this problem to map the circuitry to the layout of the IC. So it's quite challenging to do that. Then to use the pattern to continue to demonstrate the failure to you, then to continue to see the reaction from the chip. So it's supposed to work accordingly to the pattern or whatever. So at one time that I cannot get it sync or it doesn't give me the result that I want.
Okay.
I mean, I work with the engineer and all this. I say, I think I doubt on that steps or that actions. I think it's not like that. I think it doesn't. I don't think it's right. Yeah. But they are so confident that they look at the data, and they are so confident that no, it's. I mean, they are experienced.
Right. Okay.
So
yeah.
one of the word that he gave me and he enlightened me. I said, I try many times, I don't get the result. And he told me it's not hard enough. He's so confident. He said, no, you haven't tried hard enough. Then I go on and try. After 2-3 more times, then I get the result exactly as what it should give me. Then I process the whole thing. Then I get the failure where it is. So that phrase always refresh myself every time that somebody tell me, somebody challenge me on the things that I'm so confident on. I know this is gonna be like that. This is gonna work like that. This engineering gonna be like that. And the young people that they'll doubt on it. No, I try many times, it doesn't work. Then I would always tell them, no, you try not hard enough yet.
So
try harder.
There's a sort of this aspect of perseverance then,
yeah,
right? To
try harder.
Yeah, try harder to work on things, and then make sure you do the repetitions.
Yeah.
It's a bit like workouts, right? Workouts,
yeah.
you do repetitions as well, and there's benefits in that because when you try to put something in a test, that's what it requires, and ABS braking systems very important.
Yeah.
Literally saves lives.
Yeah.
So this is life-saving engineering. You want to talk about real-world application? I think Mr. Davis directly involved with actual life-saving engineering technology. It's something we take for granted now because ABS braking is
you think
widespread.
it's going to work all the time.
Right, and that's because it was put through the paces by engineers such as yourself. Now, speaking of conventional thinking, we're going to move forwards from your time in Intel now. Of course, Mr. Davis, as I said in the introduction, also worked for Dell and Avago. And Mr. Davis actually went from being a QA engineer, essentially a failure analysis engineer, to managing product lines.
R&D project.
Yeah, R&D project. So I want to ask you, Mr. Davis, what sort of made you make that switch from perhaps, being a QA engineer and then going to research and development, for example?
I think the switch that I have thought about it is I need to move to a non-pure technical role because failure analysis is pure technical role. So in fact, I tried straight jump to a commercial role. It's like a sales or business development guy in engineering. But at that time, not like now, at that time, sales engineer is a higher rank engineer because they make more money, the company pay more, and it's more important positions in the company. So you don't get the job offer when you don't have experience. They only offer to the people who have sales experience or show the capability to do sales in the engineering. So it's hard to get job because I tried to interview in a few companies for 4 times. Same position 4 times.
4 times.
They don't take me. They still reject me.
Right.
So end up I took. I appreciate Avago that time because it's a difficult time. I'm from a ordinary family, poor family, so it was a difficult time. I stopped working in Intel. I thought I want to start some small business, so we threw all the savings in the business. Okay. Then you lost all the money, and then you start to think back, why did you lose all the money? Why did you lose all the money? Why did you lose the money? End up I got a conclusion that you're not good enough. I'm not good enough that time. So
not enough repetitions.
Yeah, you're just not good enough to be in the business yet.
So there's an element perhaps after you exited Intel.
Yeah.
You still had that a lot of the mastery you had from Intel was failure analysis, repetition.
Yeah.
So maybe there was an element of that, but also you can tell since you decided to move to Avago, and then before that you said that you tried.
In between that, I started a small business
Right,
first.
yeah.
Then it failed, you lost the money, and then you think, the conclusion that I got from the journey, the 6-month journey is, I think I'm not good enough yet. Yeah. So I need to go back to work for people first, to gain more experience, to learn more about different quality first. So I decided to apply sales role or any role that non-full technical. So end up I got offered by Avago as a project lead, which is, I would say project lead is half technical, half management.
Okay, so let's talk about your time in Avago as a project lead, right? So, and it's interesting that you mentioned that you did the small business thing. So that's the seeds of the entrepreneurial spirit within you. Yeah. So we already have an early indication of that. Yeah. So now let's look at your time in Avago as a project lead. What was it like now having to split your expertise in the technical side, which you're very proficient at, and then suddenly having a managerial role, having to deal with perhaps not exclusively technical individuals, right? So that's a completely different ball game.
Yeah, I'll say I'm in the middle of technical person and commercial persons. I always thought like I'm a better commercial and management person, but I don't have track record to it. But I'm certainly not the best engineer in the world, I know. Because I have met many engineers that's so good. They can solve all the engineering problems, software, hardware, anything, much more efficient than me. They understand engineering issue much more direct than me. So I knew that I will not be the best engineer, technical contributor when it comes to engineering field. Right. So I gotta play a different role in this business or in this engineering field. So I want to go to a role that it needs commercial or management skills. So I start to pick up from the project lead positions, even though I don't have experience on it, but of course It was a good environment to learn at that time. Good people in the management teach me a lot about that.
What kind of skills did you feel were necessary to deploy in your role as the project lead? Are we talking like, did you really have to hone on your communication skills, your negotiation, your conflict resolution, or is it just a mixture of everything?
A project lead is very unique. I still tell our people project management is really a good training ground for everyone.
Good training ground.
Okay, as a project lead or project manager, you need to understand technically about your project.
Okay. Yeah.
But you cannot be the best person to do it. So you're going to deal with a bunch of designers, which you know how hard to deal with designers. So you're going to speak their language, get them to work, get them to fix the design, to do what you want to do, to your expectations, to your specifications, to get them to work,
Right.
to deliver. That's one tough work. And who are your customer? The marketing, the sales is your customer. Because the customer and the sales and the marketing get requirement from the customer. And they commit to it, to deliver by when, to do these specs, to do at this cost.
Yeah.
And then they already commit. You can't say anything because they have commit.
Right. So there's like a cutoff point where it's too late to do anything else.
No, that's the way how business works.
Okay.
The sales always make the call the shot first. And then they come back, okay, come, boys, we're gonna do this. Then you are the project lead, project manager, that, hey, what's it? So what you want to do? So I want to do this, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have the production by when, I'm gonna have this cost, I'm gonna have this timeline. So you take up this project, get it done. And the boss, of course, will look at the sales and marketing. Hey, okay, we got this project, this is gonna generate how many millions in the next few years and all this. Okay, let's get it done. So you are the person who get it done. So this is your customer, and you need to fulfill them, and their requests, and they are not. They have a lot of requests that they'll just top down. So manage that. So then you're gonna deal with subcontractors.
Right, subcontractors.
To do the things, and you're gonna control the timeline, control the cost, and then manage the whole project to deliver, and then present it. That the project, how do you meet the expectations of the sales and marketing, and what kind of sales and marketing revenue and profit will be contributed by this project.
So the project lead actually has to wear so many different hats to get this done, isn't it? So we're not just talking about one or two key skills. You literally have to multi-role yourself into...
It's a very good role for you to train yourself as an entrepreneur.
You mentioned when we looked at the first segment, and our viewers can check this back, you talked about adaptability, the importance of being adaptable to challenging situations. So I think being a project lead perhaps is the best example of this, of having to be adaptable.
I think if you want to become an engineering entrepreneur, you need to be at that role. Because end of the day, you still need to be technically driven. You need to know the technicality of all the things that in your project. But you don't need to be as expert as the designer in specific area, in mechanical problems, electronic design, in the software language and how to control it and all this. You don't need to. You need to integrate the whole thing and to know this is whose part. But you need to speak the technical language to the marketing or the clients to explain how does it translate to the product values or benefits to the client. So you more or less you need to do that.
It almost sounds like an art form. It's like you're a conductor conducting an orchestra, right? And you want the rhythm and the flow and the tune to be in sync. Then you have to control all these different pieces.
Yeah, so that's the project role.
So I want to ask you now. Also, during this time in Avago, you're doing an MBA part-time as well. Yeah. So that had to be challenging. So I think this is very beneficial for our viewers and listeners who may be wanting to pursue their studies. But I think the question would be, well, Mr. Davis, you have such extensive experience in engineering. Why pursue an MBA? Why not a master's in engineering of some description, for example?
Yeah, like I said previously, like I always thought I want to go to commercial role. So I knew that I need to go to commercial role to be more competitive, to harvest my potential. That's what I thought. Right. So I decided it, and that learning from MBA is it just come in one fine day that I still think which part I still not good enough. So what path, what actions can I do that can accelerate my learning and my career path? I think like one of the way, of course, I applied commercial role. I don't get a chance.
Yeah.
So one of the way I can study, of course, I can pay money to study. There's no problem. You don't complain when you get stuck, right? You find way out when you get stuck, right? So then you find one of the way that I need to do is I go to study MBA. I mean, if people think that I'm not good enough to do a commercial role, then I go study to maybe make a better chance for me to be in a commercial role next time. So eventually, and one thing of the study, and I always say, if you're part time, if you think you want to do it now and then you do it. Do it while you still have the energy. Right. You know, you don't drag. If you think like, I want to go to study, you know, all this while you're working, if that thinking comes, then you better do it now. If 1 year, 2 years later, you might not do it eventually.
You're not likely to actually start the MBA program itself.
So eventually I did it. I start like 1 year plus later. So of course everyone knows, almost everyone knows in the office knows that I'm studying my MBA part-time. So that lead to when a marketing manager left the role,
right.
Then the boss come to offer me that, hey, I heard you studying your MBA now, right? I say, yeah. So are you interested on this marketing role? I say, of course. I always plan to move to commercial role when I'm up for it.
Yeah.
So then he told me, okay, you come into the office to see me next Monday. I mean, I think during that day is a Friday. I took leave for a weekend. So Monday, he asked me to go see him and to talk about this opportunity.
Right.
Then I go in early in the morning in the office. Then the bosses straight away tell me, now you're reporting to this marketing director.
So you got the job pretty much instantaneously.
So that is always an amazing story that I just thought like I come into the office to discuss about it.
Yeah. No, you were starting the job immediately.
not directly to start the job.
Yeah.
Then eventually I just switched to the marketing role.
So that's interesting because we love exploring on this show the different milestones of our guests. So for you, the first milestone you shared with us was when you did the knowledge transfer as part of Intel going to the States.
Yeah.
So would this be considered one of another major milestone that after taking your MBA and then having that opportunity?
That's why I would tell people, when you want to do something, when you want to go somewhere, share it. People will know. The people who have opportunity around you will come to you. If you don't tell people, don't show the desire to do it, well, nobody knows.
Nobody knows, right? Yeah. So the MBA kind of opened that really amazing door for you in a way.
Yeah, it moved me to a commercial role. Yeah. That is the learning of commercial entrepreneurship, sales, BD, management as well.
So, Mr. Davis, right now we've explored a really incredible part of your journey so far. So you did Intel, and then you went to R&D with Avago, and then now we're going to look at where you are currently. So tell us the story about how Solarvest came to be in your professional life.
In the same thing that just now we talked about, you're going to tell people your desire, where you want to move to. Yeah. And a group of our friends, including Edmund and Mr. Lim, is our partners here, our founders of the Solarvest. Right. So we all know that we want to start something for ourselves, start some business. I mean, in the 6 months that I was transitioning from Intel to Avago, that 6 months, we were involved in some of the business that failed eventually. Everybody lost money. So then eventually when I moved to Avago, the end of Avago, and I moved to Dell, that they started Solarvest. We talk about this green technology development. the rise of green technology at that time, in 2011. We all think that, wow, this looks like something. This looks like something. And it is, I always have thinking that green technology business is good because it's a trend, and the bigger business that you grow, the better that you do to the environment and or to the community. So it's a very good business to be in.
Right. Because it's very forward-looking, isn't it?
Yeah. So we always think like it's fun or it's exciting to get anything in a green technology business. In the past we explore e-waste, recycle, and all this as well. Okay. So then we all know. Then when they started, then they tried out first and not sure how it works or not. And until certain stage, they think like, oh, we kind of get grip of it, and it should be working. And then of course, they know I always interested
to be a part of it.
To be part of it. So that's how I get invited when they're starting like less than a year. Then I get joined to the team as part of the team.
So Mr. Davis, can you tell us a little bit about the change in mindset from when you moved, obviously from your role in marketing in Avago, and then obviously now you're at the upper echelons of Solarvest as the group CEO. What was some of the changes in mindset?
I think the good thing of the transitions that I have from corporates, I have the exposures of corporate and how big company work. But when you transition to a small company, you got to put yourself down to that level, to ground level, right. That to see how things work at the ground level, that to try to connect these big corporate things, big company things, and to how a small company should operate, and cherry pick what is good at small company and what is good at big company, and combine together.
Right. And so before you were obviously reporting to someone, the marketing director. Now people are reporting to you because you're the group CEO. And so how's it like having to now have a vision, not just for your own personal career, because we've done that. Right? You went from Intel, now you're at the the highest level of leadership. So what has that been like?
I think one thing that I suppose to relate back, like, in big company, we learn about systematic approach. We learn about strategic thinking, the visions of the company, to do all these big things. So that even though when I'm working, I'm not involved in those things, but you see all the leaders are doing all these things. So you envision that if one day you will be the leader of the company, that's the things that you're supposed to be emphasize on, and this is what you're supposed to focus on: the strategic thinking, and how to structure things correctly, how to build the ecosystem, how to build the company culture correctly, and to let the everybody in the community to go out and get the potentials of this business and for themselves as well. So this I got it from working in the corporates, and then I need to switch my mindset when we grow the company from small, SME size to a listed company now. So that changes of leadership style, the way that you work with the team, how do you enhance your own leadership and management style. I think that done gradually, and one of the things that you need to be to have in a personal quality in growing this kind of company journey is the dynamic thinking, that how you're going to change yourself, reflections to yourself, to keep on changing. The way that I'm doing what I'm doing now, or the way that I think now, is completely different when the company is 20 people, 50 people, when we started to grow the company.
Right.
So I think the dynamic character is one of the things.
So now, I mean, like I mentioned to the viewers and listeners, Solarvest is now involved in so many large solar farm installations and projects, and Solarvest also does a lot of business with procurement, construction, and commissioning, for example. So what has it been like in your experience, drawing on what you knew from your time in Intel and Avago, and being an engineer at the ground level, and then being a marketing manager and now group CEO, coordinating with all the different business partners and government, sort of sectors. How did you manage to coordinate all of these different moving parts?
I think at one point that I always think like, you focus on your product, you focus on technical part of the business is the most important thing. In recent few years, because I was the association's president as well for to drive the industry together with the government policy. So with that role, and also of course learning from my partners as well, my partners are very people-driven person. It's not a result-driven people like me, hardcore person.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot from them, and then through my association role to work a lot with governments. So of course, it's a completely different mentality that when you want to work in this world, and then to a real corporate world that you're being asked for a lot of result all the time. So to balance yourself within both, I think that's how is transform myself to manage the company now. Yes, we need result, but we're gonna try and do different approach, a more people-driven approach, a more patience with and how to balance between short-term result and long-term strategic directions and all this. And of course, I think I learned a lot from on people skills with my partners and management team.
Right, because you mentioned that you're very results-driven, and you realized the importance of the balance, the equilibrium between being people-driven, but also you still need the results because you are running a business. You are in charge of the whole Solarvest Group, right? And so I think in your case, Mr. Davis, you understood that results, of course, but if you put the time and energy into developing talent, then it's going to pay off at the end, obviously.
Yeah, but I don't think I get this until I evolve myself to really drive the company with more people-driven mentality. And then because in the past we keep on pushing results and on the technical side of the project side of the world, but now I think we start to build cultures, a lot of emphasis on people-oriented values, working values, training the community with the working cultures that we have. So then to let them to live with that principles and values, and then harvest their potentials with what they can do. So rather than you keep on pushing for result, and in a different hard way that you get the result, but it's not a long-term strategy to do that.
Right. Okay, so engineering thinkers, we've heard all this amazing insight from Mr. Davis, and you've had the opportunity to see him grow from his early stages of his career as a failure analysis engineer at Intel, and now the change in his mindset, having that entrepreneurial leadership, more soft skills driven skill set essentially as the group CEO of Solarvest. Which brings us to the future of Solarvest, and this is going to be an excellent transition for segment 3 of our show, the final segment, the creative section. And this is where I'm going to ask Mr. Davis, our guest, our hero for this episode, his views of the future and where Solarvest fits in that. So, Mr. Davis, my first question to you is, obviously renewable and clean energy is very future driven. It's looking for, being more sustainable, if you want to put it that way, right? And perhaps people can say, well, it's a very marketable thing. But why is it so important for Solarvest to continue exploring green innovations?
We used to think like clean energy sources is transitional. But I would say like we think AI is in the future. I think it's immediate right now. The same that clean energy needs, how it changed people's life is immediate. Why I say it like that? Because we are in here, we don't feel about the climate change issue, the decarbonization issue. A simple way to test yourself is, today you go to the North Pole or the South Pole, right? Look at how the glaciers have been different since past 100 years, 50 years, 20 years, 10 years. This is one thing. And then look at how climate changed over the past 20 years or 10 years. And how many disasters happens due to climate change. I think it's all affected by all this climate change issue, that it's really become an alarm now that we need to decarbonize, we need to slow down the climate change for the next generations. It's really immediate, because we are here, we don't feel it. When you're putting yourself, let's say a polar bear and a North Pole, I think they have harder life than past 20 years.
Yes, definitely.
So we definitely need to put in actions now.
So that's part of your vision as the group CEO as well. You sort of envision a world where Solarvest has a place in helping reverse some of the damage that climate change has caused.
One of the values that working in Solarvest, out of the 10 values that we have, is you need to know what is your purpose that working in this company. If you don't buy that idea that this climate change issues is real, we need to decarbonize, we need to do all this energy transitions effort to slow down the climate change and save the earth indirectly, you need to support and understand its purpose, why you are working so hard to do this. Is important, because this is one of the values that we want you to know. If you're not supporting of this value, you'll be contradicting to what all the hard work that you're going to put in this company.
So for you, Mr. Davis, and for Solarvest, having individuals that hold these key values is very important to you. Clearly, they have to understand that their work does.
It's one of the 10 values in our company. So even in the interview, we asked us, "Why do you want to work in this industry? Do you understand the purpose why you work on it?" But of course, some of the people, I think, to the younger generations now, they understand it well, and a lot of people are really the mentality they want to work in the green industry.
Because we're finding I want to talk about the United States, because you've had some experience there, and in the US, when we look at graduates or people entering the engineering fields, it's actually less than before. And in fact, there's a higher incidences of US graduates dropping out of the course to become online content creators or some other form of social entertainment. And that's part of the reason why we have the show and why we have guests like you on. So perhaps, is that something you wanted to let our viewers know, that actually it's worth it if you continue on the pathway of engineering, and then you can make a difference like Solarvest?
I think one of the important credit I want to give to this show is like, you guys show up like how engineer can contribute to the world. This is exactly what I think is like engineering or engineers are important to the future of generation, because we'll create a lot of technology advancement to make a better human living, to improve the quality of life. Example, smartphones, high-speed train, aeroplanes, even AI now that it will actually become your assistant or everything. It's just improve quality of life that we're gonna have with cheaper cost, of course. So that's how important is engineer in our daily life, that we didn't realize it. So, but the trend of engineering or the trend of how this will work, it seems like engineering become more boring, and more difficult. So it take away all the interest of the young people that to involve in technology and engineering. So we gotta, as entrepreneurs or as an employer, we need to evolve the job, the way it works, the ecosystem of engineering world. It is not that boring. It can be fun. It can be very interesting. It can be purpose-driven. It can give you the satisfactions, what you do, how it impacts human living.
And I want to go back because, by the way, that's a really good set of advice for our viewers and listeners. Your work as an engineer in the future will make a difference, right? And you're doing a good job when people take it for granted, because it's become part of daily life, right? Yeah. We don't think of our phones. We don't think, I drove here, and the automotive technology, I'm using ABS brakes as well, something that you had. So we don't think about it, but it affects us on the daily.
Yeah.
But I do want to mention something that our younger listeners from this generation perhaps are interested in, which is AI. Now, you said that a lot of the things that we think of being a consideration for tomorrow, such as AI or green technology, is actually an immediate thing. Can you explain why AI is actually impacting people now, that it's not something that's just going to happen in the near future? And what is Solarvest's sort of involvement with AI?
I think I try to relate this into our industry because, one of the important things of clean energy transition is about centralized and decentralization. So clean energy transitions, it will move to more to decentralization. So you have more self-control, more intermediates in the energy distributions. How are you going to do it? Digital. It's a digital technology that help to distribute the energy smarter, to generate the energy, to monitor the energy generation better. When it comes to digital technology, now it's different. It's AI driven as well. So in a lot of digital platform on energy distribution, or even EV charging platform, it can be AI driven. Right. To give you intelligence of the platform, that how should you price it, where it needs energy, how do you disperse the energy, and how do you conserve the energy, and all this intelligent, it can happen with AI technology as well in the energy distribution.
Energy distribution, I'm glad you mentioned that. And Mr. Davis, you were addressing our viewers and listeners, and you said what they will do in the future as engineers, whether they join Solarvest or not, we'll talk about that briefly as well, is that what they do has an impact. And let's talk about what Solarvest has done in terms of having an impact. And I believe, Mr. Davis, Solarvest was involved in providing electricity to, I believe, Orang Asli community. Can you speak to our viewers about that project a little bit?
Yeah, it's a small project. Of course, compared to capacity that Solarvest do, that's a small project, but it's a big impact because it's still fresh in my memory that we helped the 40 families, which they're living in the dark without electricity for many years. So we donate and we build an off-grid solar system plus battery plus inverter system that give them about 7.5 kilowatt hour electricity with, I think, 5 kilowatt hour of maximum power rating, which equivalent to you can have a fridge, few fans, a small equivalent to small aircon, but of course they don't have an aircon there. It's in a community house. So the 40 families now, the kids can actually charge the laptop, use the computer, have the internet, use the phone, charge the phone as well, store their vegetables and meat, whatever, in the fridge, in a community center. For sometimes they want to take it to the city to sell, so they need to store it for a few days or anything. So in the past, they need to cut it and they need to go and sell. So it's not really effective, right? So we built that small little system that to ease their daily life, which they don't have electricity in the village. So I personally joined the tour in this CSR project to go into the Orang Asli village that we might take 1 to 2 hours to go into by 4-wheel drive into the village. So it is quite a meaningful project for us.
The families, how did they respond to the project? How did they feel when they finally got lights and
they're happy. They serve us with the food that they eat every day. You know, they catch a wild fish. They just really enjoy with us when we try to do this. That was a daily trip that I've done, and it was a very good experience with the local Orang Asli.
So that's very important story and case study that Mr. Davis just shared with all of us. That yes, the project doesn't have to be huge, you know, megawatt sort of project or huge solar farm. It can just make a difference just to 40 families. Big, right? And it's all things we take for granted: fridge, lights, you know, being able to charge your devices. We don't think about this on the daily, but when you don't have it, you're definitely going to miss it.
And that time when we did it, So we know that they need to go out to a house that located probably like 5-10 kilometers away just to charge the phone.
I couldn't imagine that. That is rough. So once again, Solarvest with projects like these, definitely are making a difference, and you can too, by the way. Now, just another question about the future of Solarvest. I believe Solarvest is doing a lot of discovery into new green technologies, like trying to improve battery storage and perhaps even hydrogen. Now, these R&D projects should be very resource and time intensive. Why go ahead with them? Why is it so necessary for Solarvest?
To lead the industry and to do an excellent job for the industry in the right directions, I think we need to be to explore the unknown, which is like okay. Of course, BSS is not the unknown. It's a more advanced, a game changer now that which is happening. So we got to put ourselves to put a lot of development effort into BSS integrations. Then green hydrogen is new, so not many people in the region that really are working it. So we take leading positions to go into that area to do R&D and to work with local authority, local governments to explore into this area. So we want to do that to help the development of the industry. Because at the end of the day, the ecosystem, the strategic directions that we want to build for clean energy, to harvest full potentials of clean energy is including green hydrogen fuel cell, which is the last mile of decarbonizations, from transitioning the power source, transitioning the energy distributions to be clean energy, and then green hydrogen fuel cell will be the last mile of the decarbonization. So we want to complete the full value chains of decarbonizations using clean energy, and that's all included EV charging as well. The EV charging infrastructure that we want to build is clean energy EV charging infrastructure.
So not just the clean form of transportation, but also the feedback loop into actually charging your EV sustainably.
Yeah.
So now we're going to ask Ms. Davis one last question, and this is going to be directly for all of our viewers and listeners. Mr. Davis, let's pretend for a moment that there is a young listener who's perhaps in academia or just joined as a junior engineer in a firm, and they want to think, oh, what is Mr. Davis looking for? What is Solarvest looking for in an engineer? What are some of the qualities? What are some of the skills that you want to see, or abilities in an engineer that you want to see join Solarvest? If you could give them tips or advice.
We have a lot of Gen Z in the company. Okay. I do find what is a strength, what is a weakness. I think if to take a short moment to talk about the strength, they got a lot of energy and creativity, no doubt about it. But the resilience, perseverance, is a bit lack of. They tend to give up things easily, not try hard enough.
How can they improve on that? How is it just through repetition, or is it just making sure that they have proper mentoring, or how would you solve this problem, being given your experience as a...
We probably are in social revolutions now because, well, they're coming from a rich or a good family background, not hungry. They just want to do things that they like and to the purpose that they want to. Right. I think one of the way that to fit it to tell them that to do things that fit into your character as well. So the first thing, understand very well, what do you want? What is your purpose of doing this? You're going to understand it very well. Right. If you don't understand it very well, then it will be all bunch of problems for sure, no matter how you advise it. You will not have this perseverance, resilience and all this. So if you understand it very well, the purpose of doing this or this job, that what kind of hard work that you want to put in and what kind of sacrifice that you want to put in. Right. If this is really the things that you want, find it out, define it, Be very clear with yourself. If you're not clear, it's fine. Then you do it for fun. You're in the exploration. Don't commit anything. Go to the space that you don't need to commit.
Right.
If you're clear, to find this space to fit into your purpose, and then to train your resilience and perseverance skills. And for me, if you find this really what you want, then you have no excuses to not doing it, not to try your perseverance or resilience. Because I would say the resilience is through training.
Training.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you you do this, you tried it, and the next time you do another job or another missions, you increase your resilience level, and you keep on increasing that until certain level that you're much better than a lot of people. Then I'm sure your result will be much better than other people as well.
So I mean, one of the lessons I guess that I took from that was that it's actually okay to try something and fail the first couple of times, actually, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
We think nothing wrong with that, but some of the young people will think like, that's not what I want.
Because we go back to segment 2 when we discuss your first couple of business ventures that didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then look at you now. Look at Mr. Davis as Group CEO of Solarvest. So failures should not be the final stumbling block. It should not be an insurmountable wall. It's an opportunity to learn from your mistakes, perhaps, or your shortcomings, and find ways to overcome them.
I hope the young people will take failure as a lesson and improve. But some of the, I don't know how to phrase it, but don't take failure too seriously that you really call it the end. But take failure as a lesson, seriously. That's how it's supposed to work.
So, as a parting message, then, Mr. Davis, what would you hope to see from a fresh graduate that you think perhaps there might be a gap, right, between academia and what industry wants? And in fact, this is something that previous guests have told us. It's like, they're good, like you said, they have the energy, they have the passion for it. Creativity. But perhaps there needs to be some things that they can do personally to develop themselves, to sort of shorten the gap and be, the bridge between academia, when you're freshly graduated, to their first role, let's say at Solarvest. So what's one skill you would say is something that they can work on?
Although it's not really realistic, like I always tell to all the people, especially the young people, if you want to become a leader, you need to learn how to follow first.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's very true.
Could you elaborate more on that?
So you need to know how to follow instructions, how to adapt to the constraints that you have. That if everyone being given everything in an ideal way to get things done, that's easy.
Yeah. That's true.
So when you want to become someone that can lead something, lead a project, become a leader in the group, you need to know how to work within the constraints, and need to know how to follow the instructions to get things done, and then to evolve from there. If you can't even follow, what makes you think that you can become a leader?
Very good point. Very good point. And I think on that note, it's a very good piece of advice from Mr. Davis to end on. Being a follower is not necessarily just bad connotations. You've got to understand what it's like from the ground up. After all, Mr. Davis, having finished his studies, didn't become the group CEO of a listed company immediately, right? So we explored in this episode his entire saga, his origin story, his life's journey to get to where he is today. So, engineering thinkers, I'm going to conclude the creative section here, and please do stay with us for the final messages. Engineering thinkers, I'd like to thank you all for joining us for this episode with Mr. Davis Chong, the Group CEO of Solarvest. We're very thankful for him because he's taken time out of his very busy schedule to come share his insights and experience with all of us here today. I also like to take this opportunity to thank MMM Group Berhad, who have provided and hosted us in this wonderful studio, and the production team, for which this show would not be possible without their assistance and their kind help. And we hope that you will stay with us in this show and follow us on any news updates by subscribing to our social channels. They'll all be linked in the video description below. And once again, thank you to Mr. Davis. But before we go, we're always going to close with the same message, which is greater engineers,
Greater world. Hi, I'm Davis Chong, Solarvest Group CEO. I'm one of the clean energy experts in the industry. I hope all of you can participate in the clean energy transitions and to fight climate change together with us.
Hello engineering thinkers, thank you for joining us in our program today. We'd like to invite you to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and also follow us on our other platforms such as Buzzsprout, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. The links for all those will be in the description below. Thank you very much for joining us for this episode, but we have so much more planned for you. So make sure you don't miss out on exciting guests and topics to come. Cheers.